the recording. All right, I will call the Waldport City Council meeting of April 23rd, 2020 to order. And I will do a roll call. Councilor Virtue.
Here.
Councilor Dunn.
Here.
Councilor Dennis.
Here.
Councilor Woodruff.
Here.
Councilor Campbell and Councilor Holland have not yet connected. We do have one member of the public, Ms. Lundeen, and we also have the information station broadcasting live, I believe on YouTube, is my understanding. So the first item on the agenda are the meeting minutes from the March 13th, March 18th, March 20th, March 23rd, and April 7th meetings.
I move that they be accepted as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion from Councilor Woodruff to approve these and a second from Councilor Virtue. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, this meeting, in trying to be a bit brief and because the challenges of the technology, we've changed up the order a little bit. We will get back to normal meetings starting in March. However, the first item we're going to jump into is discussion items. So the first item is actually the acceptance of my resignation, which is in the packet, effective Sunday night, and the appointment of the Mayor Pro Tem. There is a description in the council meeting agenda in the supplementary packet that states the process for this. Are there any questions on the process? Hearing none, I would propose a motion to accept my resignation. Would someone like to make that?
I move that we accept Dan's resignation as mayor.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, the motion passes. So now we have the filling of the vacancy under Chapter 7, Section 30. The charter states the vacancies in elective offices of the city shall be filled by appointment by a majority of the remaining membership of the council. Since this is less than 8 months before the next election, the appointment will last through the December election. The position, and it actually should be the November election, the position will be on the November ballot along with 3 council positions. The councilors whose positions will be on the ballot will be Councilors Dunn, Dennis, and Holland, along with the mayor's position. The pro tem appointee can run for the position, though if their term were up, they would need to choose whether to run for councilor or for mayor. If the appointee has an unexpired term of office in excess of 2 years and wants to run for the mayor's position, they would need to tender their resignation from the council effective at the end of the calendar year. So, do we have any nominations for Mayor Pro Tem?
I would like to nominate Sue Woodruff.
That was going to be my vote as well.
All right, so Greg, are you seconding that?
Yes.
All right. So we have a nomination from Councilor Virtue of Councilor Woodruff. We have a second from Councilor Dunn. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Susan, you're not opposing it, so.
No, but I didn't vote for it either, so I'm abstaining.
So 1 abstention, but we do have 4 votes for Susan Woodruff. So effectively, Susan Woodruff, as of the 27th, shall be sworn in as Mayor Pro Tem, term extending through the end of this year.
Thank you for the vote of confidence.
Thank you for being willing to serve. All right, the next item that's included as page 2 of the supplementary packet is the revised budget schedule. This is a reflection of the fact that I am just starting on Monday. and we are not necessarily where we want to be in terms of budget completion. However, I would note that we're really only pushing it back a few weeks, and we should be able to meet, even though we were given guidance by the state that allows us a lot more flexibility than this. We should actually be able to meet the by the June 11th council meeting, the normal schedule that we would for the budget. Are there any discussion, any questions? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
I move that we accepted the budget schedule as in our packet.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Councillor Woodruff has moved to accept the revised budget schedule in the packet. Councillor Dennis has seconded. Is there any other discussion or questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. All right. The next is we have a vacancy on the Planning Commission, which is included in the packet. Would anybody like to make a motion?
So we're just moving that there is a vacancy and we'll advertise it. Is that what we're doing?
Hold on just a second. Right
We
when
don't
that
have
happens.
anybody applying.
Or are we moving to accept Kitty's resignation?
Right.
That was my understanding.
Okay. And declaring a vacancy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I move that we accept Kitty's resignation and declare an open spot on the Planning Commission.
And I'll second that. I beat you to it, Sue.
All right,
That's
we have a
okay.
motion to accept the resignation and declare a vacancy from Councillor Virtue. We have a second from Councillor Dunn. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion passes. We are going quite quickly. All right. The last piece is we do have a budget committee, and I'm sorry, I screwed up the order of these. I do apologize. That was D. C is the budget committee appointment. We do have a letter of interest. I would say that right now, we had been verbally told that one of the members of the budget committee was going to not be participating. However, he has since kind of recanted. So this would be appointing as a an alternate and kind of hopefully encouraging this person to continue once we have a seventh counselor, and that will be a discussion for the May meeting. Encourage this person to still participate. They couldn't vote until we have a seventh counselor, just because we have to have an equal number or at least exceeding in the council. So is there a motion to accept this person as an alternate and pending full appointment?
I have a question.
Absolutely.
There's only 12 on the list. So who is not? So who is it that's going to stay? Are they not on the list?
So the letter that we have in the supplementary packet, I think it was Mr. Snyder who was going to leave, but is staying. And then because
But
I've resigned, we only have 6 counselors, so we have 6 members of the general public. And this is for and this is to fill the vacancy from Herman.
Okay, so you're saying we can only have as many members of the public as we have counselors?
That is my understanding, yes.
Okay, I didn't realize that. I thought it was still 7. All right.
But we would be appointing her as an alternate pending our appointment of a counselor if that's what the council so chooses. Otherwise, she can still participate in the discussion. She just can't vote at the end.
Right, okay. And I did see Mr. Snyder, I think day before yesterday, and he said he was going to participate.
Yes, and he had indicated apparently earlier that he might not be.
Okay.
And then he said no, that he was still going to be participating.
Okay, good. I move that we appoint Joan Krall as an alternate member of the Budget Committee.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion to appoint Joan as an alternate member of the Budget Committee from Councillor Woodruff. And was that Councillor Dunn who seconded it, or Councillor Dennis? I couldn't hear.
Dennis.
All right, Councillor Dennis seconded. If there's no other discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes.
One more question on that. So we usually do not have all the members of the public that show up. So then would that mean if somebody doesn't show up, she can participate?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so she needs to be prepared.
Yeah, she should be prepared. Even as an alternate, she should be prepared.
All
You
right.
know,
Okay.
it's rare that we get enthusiastic participation in our budget meetings.
Right.
And for those of you in the general public who are listening, these are public meetings that are open. So if you so choose, you may participate as well. Although, you know, some of the discussion will be limited to the members there, other than the public comment section. All right. So the next, we're going to do public comments. Do we have anything that came in through communication from the information station? I'm not seeing any. We did receive a letter from Miss Lundeen to be read into the record. We will send that out to everyone, but fundamentally it states that she is asking the council to send her discussion and the remand back to the Planning Commission, as has been part of the process. However, because of the timing, we have been moving forward with the idea that we would actually hold the public hearing on March 14th at the council level instead of the Planning Commission level.
May 14th?
Yes, May 14th. That's our council
Yeah.
meeting. Did I say March?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been doing that too
Yes.
many times. It still feels like March 80th. So, well, I do recognize, and I do leave it up to the council to vote on this. I would recognize that this has been a fairly long process, and we do have a finding from our attorney, and that pretty clearly states that it is well within our purview, given the limited nature of the remand, to directly hear it at council. You know, so unless there is objection, we are going to schedule the hearing for the May 14th meeting, so that we can move this process along. We have a very limited remand from LUBA to address, and at that point we will address those concerns specifically and move forward. Is there any objection? Is there any motion contrary to that plan?
None.
Excellent. All right. So without objection, we will schedule that, and we will inform Mrs. Lundeen, who is actually on the call, so I think she can hear us, but we'll inform Ms. Lundeen that this is the current plan and proceed accordingly. I do hope, and it is my sincere hope, although it will be, of course, up to the council and the mayor pro tem, that the May 14th meeting will be held socially distant in our council chambers. I do think that doing a public hearing, though it's possible, doing a public hearing in this process is challenging, and I don't know that it would give Ms. Lundeen a fair representation, nor the opposing party. I do think that we can accommodate everything we need to in council chambers with appropriate social distancing. But that will be my recommendation, and I will let the mayor pro tem and council determine that at a later date. Hearing no other public comments, and Rita's not texting me anything urgent, we come to good of the order. Now, we omitted staff reports, and we've omitted some of the councilor comments and concerns. if there are any issues to the good of the order, this would be an appropriate time to possibly bring those up. I do have to say we will have an opportunity on a short meeting next week. And given my new role, I hope to meet with all of you starting next week, at least weekly to start off with, although you can tell me if that's too much. But I would like to get a sense of kind of each individual council member's priorities. The one thing I do have for today for the good of the order is a specific appointment. Oh, we lost somebody. We seem to have lost information. That's unfortunate. The one piece for the good of the order, and this is recorded so that we can provide that so the general public will be able to listen to our deliberation, is I would like to, as my kind of last act as mayor here, one of the few powers reserved to the mayor is to appoint a committee. We have talked back and forth about setting up a Parks and Trails committee. One of the pieces of interest that I think that the Parks and Trails Committee could do, along with some of the moving pieces in terms of the donation of the Isaac Weltenlink property and others, is they could address some of the concerns about park upkeep and some of the kind of weeding and planters around town. We do have a citizen who's very interested in participating in that process. So unless there is objection, I would like to start a Parks Committee and ask for volunteers from the council to serve on that committee. I imagine it will meet more frequently in the summer and then maybe less frequently in the winter. But there are going to be a number of items. So this is not going to be a committee that only meets once a year, is I guess what I'm suggesting. So do I have volunteers who would like to serve on that committee?
I have always been on that committee, but that doesn't mean I have to continue being on it. I am a plant person, but if there's another counselor who also has those kinds of affinities and wants to be on it, I certainly would step aside for that.
If we want it manicured like a golf course, we could just appoint somebody.
Like Mark, right?
That'll teach him not to be there.
Except he doesn't do it. He has his crew do it, so we might have to check out his capabilities.
I think Susan would Councilor Woodruff would make an excellent chair of that committee. If there's no objection, I'd like to just proceed forward with that. If anybody would like to make a motion, that would you codify it.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Go ahead,
And
Harry.
I make a motion, we appoint Susan.
All right, we have a motion from Councilor Dunn. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a second from Councilor Dennis. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Excellent. Is there any other business to come before the council today?
So Dan, are you going to also appoint Kelly, or has she said whether she was willing to be on it?
I have not heard back. I have not heard back from
Okay.
Ms. Otis, but I would leave that up to the chair of the committee
Okay.
to appoint it as appropriate.
Okay.
All right. If there's no other business, we can adjourn.
All
Very
right,
fun.
thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
I look forward to actually seeing you all in the near future.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.